That would be an ecumenical matter.
Well, hello and welcome to Ecumenical Matters, the Father Ted podcast. I'm here in the room in Letterkenny in the Clanry Hotel. We tried to start it earlier. It was a bit abortive earlier. We couldn't get any noise, too much noise, too much messing. And John was there. John from Foxlaw. We'll just put his plug in. But we're here for John's wedding to Helena, and they had a lovely day yesterday, and we're all here, all half hungover after our.
I'm not hungover.
Not hungover yourself.
Well, there you go.
I'm always drunk.
Well, you got the most of the voices in the room there. I'll go around the room. It's Cunan, Sinead, Sean, who you've already met. Which episode were you doing, Sean?
I did New Jack City, where you cut out the fact that I was a Bikram yoga expert.
Sean is a
not that you're annoyed about that at all.
Well, I'm not one to hold a grudge, but it's probably the best part of my personality, because I don't have a personality apart from that.
You don't look like much of a yoga expert, to be fair.
Listen, you don't have to be slim to be flexible.
Ask him any question about Bikram yoga and
Yeah.
So what do you do in Bikram yoga then?
You get really hot and sweaty.
Well, there you go. And what happens when you're hot and sweaty then? Is there other people around?
Is there any particular part of your body that gets hot and sweaty?
Well, I mean, there is a certain part of your anatomy, usually your balls, that get really sweaty.
So we have plenty of sweaty balls in Bikram yoga then. But do you just want to? That's Cunan you heard as well. That's him laughing. He's thoroughly entertained by the waveform of his own voice. It is. And lifelong Teton yourself, and Sinead, his wife, is there with him. Say hello, Sinead.
Hey.
Hello. And then Wilma over there, like lying in his mug, lying in his drink, like he looks like he's about to.
When you say mug, do you mean face or that's a cup?
Well, a cup sort of.
Lying in your mug.
And you didn't say it was Ireland's sweetheart.
Well, you could say it for us then.
I'm Ireland's sweetheart.
Only maybe in 1885.
No explanation needed.
And also one half of Spare Rhea. Is it still a going concern?
Always.
Yeah, Spare Rhea folk band with John, who's
John. For the right price, we can play anywhere. There's no venue too big, no price too big.
For the right price, that's why you just haven't played in about 4 years. Agreed.
But is it one of those like reverse auctions or something? You have to like bid €1.33 or €1.35, and the lowest unique bid gets it. Is that it?
No. Starting price at €1,500.
Really?
For half an hour.
That's just
He's going to practice then if somebody pays it.
Yeah.
That's just a deposit.
And to Wilma's right is Lisa. How you doing, Lisa?
Hello.
And Lisa's shaking her head at me, so I'll move right past Lisa. And Marty and Andreas over there looking like they need a power nap.
I would like to point out that I'm an individual and I do not want to be lumped in with someone else.
Well, it's just.
I am unique.
Well, there's Marty there. You've met Marty before in the Eurovision episode. Do you remember this, Marty?
I do remember it very well.
Yeah, it was a very popular episode. I think it actually might be our highest rated episode.
Thank you very much. It was a good episode.
Episode 1 is the highest rated.
Oh yeah, well apart from episode 1, when everyone listens in and then checks out after about 5 minutes.
Well, I would like to find out where I sign up for Bikram yoga. Is there a sign up sheet?
Yeah, you can come to my website. It's www.britsite.com. All the necessary information and class times will be on there.
Thanks.
And yes, so and Andreas over there, he's keeping himself quiet. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm trying to keep all these things in check. I've got a very overambitious room, I'm starting to think. But yes, so this is the episode, season 3, episode 5, Escape from Victory. And as we mentioned earlier, it's from the name. It comes from a name of another film, Escape to Victory. And you both watched it before, I just.
Sliced alone.
Yeah, but I always call that film Escape from Victory as well.
What is Escape? Why do you call it that? Just for
because it
sheer
sounds
badness?
better.
So Pele was in it, and you informed me earlier that who else was in it?
Bobby Moore,
the old England player.
Was he also a spokesman for impotence?
Pele?
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, Bobby Moore.
Well, Pele was he?
Oh yeah, Pele was big
Pele
time.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever got it up, to be honest.
Well, you know, you weren't there to suppose to.
No, I've never checked. I'll be honest with you.
And I'm sure there is, you can get those pills nowadays, like so.
Yeah, well, that's what he was promoting.
Oh, was it? Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
Right.
Would Bikram yoga help with that sort of thing?
It would do, yeah. A big part of Bikram yoga is pelvic floor exercises.
Right.
in a very hot, sweaty room.
I've never heard you talk about this yoga before until today.
Well, he's an expert. You see, he doesn't have to. He only expounds his expertise on a particular forum when he gets
In the
when he gets.
audience.
When I have an opportunity.
Yeah. But I do want to mention a few things in the parish notes. So on the 3rd of October, Alt McCracken Live is happening. It's a sketch show that I'm writing and part of as an actor. It's £3. It'll be upstairs at the Duke of York, and you're all invited. You all want to come?
Yeah, I'll go.
Where is that?
Yeah,
Bet
I'll
you're
do it.
right.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What's the date?
The 3rd of October. It's a Monday night. It's part of the Belfast Comedy Festival. Did you know Belfast is a
I'll
comedy
go.
festival?
I'll go.
I didn't know
I'll
you could
drive
take
you, I'll
comedy
go.
parts.
What is it again? Run it past me again. What is it?
It's an original sketch show based on a town called Alt McCracken, and it's got lots of colourful characters and zany situations. You'll love it.
Crazy
What makes the
characters.
The yoga runs every night, but what time does Alt McCracken start?
It'll be at 8 p.m.
Is there shower facilities?
Well, a lot of the drains leak, so you could just sit under there. You
Okay,
you could do your yoga. There's going to be like the whole thing's going to be massive. Like there's going to be comedy stuff happening all over the city. Like there's going to be like street performers and everything.
What-
It'll actually be a really good crack. Like
What date?
3rd of October. It's a Monday night.
And how much does it cost?
£3,
Okay.
and it's
Right.
upstairs in the Duke of York.
Upstairs in the Duke.
And what date is it?
There's a few other things I want to mention. Oh yeah, Mother Teresa coming a stint. So she's committed her 2 miracles, as we mentioned earlier. And I just wanted to mention something personal. Actually, there was a Belfast, a legend of the Belfast acting scene, Tom Dart, who had died this week. He was a mustachioed New Orleaner, and he was always partying. And he was always smiling, and he left this mortal coil this week. So just wanted to put a wee tribute for that and my little contribution to his what do you call it? Stuff, yeah. To his
That's
stuff.
nice.
Well said, well said.
But we'll get into it anyway. We'll try and fly through this because we're all dying to get down to dinner and get more drinks. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, we are. What time is dinner at, by the way?
8:30.
We have to be there
So-
at 8.
You said we have to be there at 8.
No, Mary says to me that we have to be there at 8.
Oh, that's just so people will show up at 20 past 8. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Alright,
us,
so
because we're
I'll
going to show
go
up at
then.
25
Are
to
people
9.
ever late to your Bikram yoga classes? And how do you deal with that?
You make them hold stress positions. Well, you make them sit underneath somebody who's holding a stress position, a low squat.
I'm quite
And,
stressed out right now. Is there any positions that I could do that could make this easier and more comfortable to
It
Finish
just
the
it
podcast.
sounds like you just need a full release.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Furious masturbation is the key to enlightenment.
Right.
Really?
Would I get hot and
I've been doing
sweaty
a lot of
during
that.
this?
That's why you're so enlightened. Mark.
Well, I suppose, yeah, true, actually. Anyway, so we get into it. So the episode starts with Ted frantically searching for a bug. He thinks it's the flat screen bug, the parochial house has been bugged. And it turns out he's actually right, because Dick Byrne has been pointing a very high-tech microphone at his house from an ice cream van.
Yeah, you see, it's like they always say, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean that people aren't listening to you. And he's been looking for this bug inside his house, but it was outside.
He needs to look outside the door.
Yeah.
That's very true. I like the Nirvana quote there, but I believe it's somebody before that, is it?
I have no idea.
I don't know where it originally came from.
Well, it smells like Teen Spirit. That's not smells like Teen Spirit. Sorry, it's another Nirvana song. But yeah, so basically what it is that he's really anxious about the fact that he's got the annual All Priests 5-a-side over 75 indoor football challenge match coming up against Rugged Island. So obviously it's that time of year when competitive tensions are high, and
It's the next biggest rival, I heard, to the FA Cup
yes, well, probably yes.
in viewing figures. In terms of viewing figures,
Why is the FA Cup the biggest? Bigger than the World Cup final?
yeah,
No.
it is. Yeah.
Well, it might have actually overtaken the FA Cup. The magic of the FA Cup has sort of waned recently, hasn't it?
There's nobody for 75 playing on it anymore.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
And also Pele can't play anymore because he has that whole downstairs problem, and Bobby Moore as well. So I heard.
Well, Bobby Moore has got he's in one of them coffins that we'll see later on. With tells you how deep you've been buried and how long you've been buried for. But so Ted is looking all around the house and he's really tearing the place up. Like he's he looks like the place has been searched by the feds or something. He's tearing up the sofas and all sorts and turning the place over, and he still can't find this thing. But he follows a cord all the way to Jack's. It's Jack's room, and it turns out this Jack has got a personal fan. Have you
I
ever?
just love his facial expression.
Well, yeah, exactly. Have you ever seen Jack look so exquisite in that jacket and that pose? Yeah. So, and this is actually terrifying, Mrs Doyle. She doesn't like the behaviour Ted's expressing at the minute.
Yeah.
And it's really getting to her. So she doesn't like football. Like, there's a few couples in the room. Is football always ever come between you?
Soccer, you mean?
No, football or soccer or
Yeah, but nobody watches
Footballers.
soccer.
What about footballers? Sometimes.
what about them?
Well, there was a certain Tyrone footballer. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it.
Well, he did come up before and I did cut it out. We'll not mention his name, but do you want to say what did you want to say?
I'm pretty sure the Sunday World had a splash over their front page, so why would you not
Well,
say their name?
Well, actually, to be fair, he is released an autobiography where he goes on to all sort of details. What's his name again?
And to be honest, I mean, like, you're talking about football and coming in between people.
I don't think he's a
He was a
footballer.
he was a footballer that sort of came in between people. So
and over them
In
and
a way,
around them. And
Did you watch it?
no, but Marty has it.
I have no idea what
so to fill you in, Lisa, there's a Tyrone footballer who got into very bad into a gambling addiction, and it turned out.
Oh yeah!
You see, that was such glee. It's a very tragic story.
Tell me the story.
Lisa didn't even get to the part about, like, you know, she just heard he was a gambling addict. Oh, brilliant! Yeah.
I've got it on VHS if you want to see it, Lisa.
Go on ahead. I want you to finish.
Well-
I want to make sure I know what I'm thinking.
Well, yeah. So he got deep in with the gambling crowd, and
I don't know if that's true or not.
what do you mean?
I
You
think
don't
it's
know?
a shit.
Right, go on ahead. Whatever
Well,
the story is.
Eventually, he ended up doing gay porn.
That's why it says, oh
Yes.
yeah!
Why
But you
do you
said,
call
oh,
it?
yeah, when
Why
you
do you
heard he
call
was a
it gay
gambling
porn and
addict?
not
Yeah,
just
because then I
porn?
remembered what the story was.
Well, that's a good point. Actually, he ended up doing porn. But yeah, you know, that was his, so he's made his autobiography about it. But why do you not think he was gambling? Or he,
I just don't believe it.
It was
I
an
don't remember this
excuse.
bit.
Because of certain other things that happened.
that's very true. Yes, keep us on the straight and narrow there, Keenan.
Certain other things
The
that
film was
happened before
playing
he
in the
even went to
background
England.
TV whenever Ted was searching the house.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It was retconned into the the HD re-release. But yeah. So Dougal actually takes charge when he sees Ted's going a bit off the rails. I'm going to use my male version of female intuition.
Whatever that's called.
Whatever that is. What would that be?
Titulation.
Titulation. Is in tit.
Yes.
Tulation.
Yes.
Surely it'd be like coculation or something.
Ball.
Sweaty bulgulation.
Ding. But he finds the nearest glass of water and just chucks it right in Ted's face. And to be honest, Ted seems to appreciate this because he doesn't get angry as you'd expect him to. Not even the second time when he throws it in his face,
Now he comes to his senses.
or even the third time when he throws it in his face when clearly he's back to normal. But there was just randomly, little glasses of water just sitting there within Dougal's reach, just for him to throw over Ted.
I don't know they have a housekeeper and they have 3 glasses of water randomly sitting in their house.
Well,
They're called props.
but you're right though, Mrs Doyle. She does not clean up enough, does she? She's not doing her
She's too
job.
busy watching football.
Well, this is true. Well, she does get into football. Ted gets her a book. I'm sure you've all seen the cover of the book. How to let me see.
Understanding
Understanding
football.
football for women.
Yes, and the front cover was a Man United player.
Yeah.
Circa 1995.
It looked like
Yes.
it looked like a
If I'm not
mix
mistaken.
between Roy Keane and Mark Hughes. I don't know which one it was.
Well, I was going to say Lee Sharp.
You only
Was
the
it?
woman and the man on the cover.
Woman, obviously.
Yeah, so,
Well, the woman with her quite generous cleavage.
It
Do you not
certainly
think?
wasn't Pele anyway, I'll tell you that.
Really pay attention.
But yeah, no, it was. I thought it was Lee Sharp. Lee Sharp was a bit of a jack that lad back in the day. He would be, he'd be going to parties till like 6 o'clock in the morning, and Alex Ferguson would be coming to the door, and him and Ryan Giggs would be at a party, and Alex Ferguson would come down to the house, come to the party, and escort them all back to the training
I was at a party last
Was
night.
that before or after your bag gigs? Was like, you know, banging his husband's sister's wife? or something?
well before.
His husband's sister's wife.
I don't really
But
know.
sure, I was saying about Lee Sharp, he had to be going to parties and stuff because he certainly wasn't playing football for Man United.
Well, exactly, yeah. Well, they got rid of him pretty sharpish. What were you saying about Ryan Giggs?
I was just asking about Ryan Giggs' checkered past.
Well, yeah, no, as well before, because Ryan Giggs has actually been going since he was like 16 or 17 in United first team. Like, he's been going for fucking ages.
I think he actually played for, he used to play for England under 21s.
Yeah, and Michael Owen played for Wales under 21s.
Yeah, because back then it wasn't where you were born, it was where you were playing.
Right.
He played for the England under 21s. I think he was 16 at that time.
See, so he's been going the right way. And he's only just retired in 2014, which is odd to think about. Anyway, yeah, so then it finds out that Dick Byrne is actually spying on them from an ice cream truck.
You should have knew anyway. Ice cream trucks are only used for spying now.
Well, it made me think of Flowers by Irene, the truck in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But why do all these priests have this high-tech surveillance equipment? Because in a previous episode, Dougal was sitting there trying to catch Pat Mustard with his big looking high-tech equipment.
And it's so unnecessary whenever you think about it, because priests can learn anything they want to from confession and then freely share it with other priests. I'm pretty sure that's in like the Bible somewhere.
It's
that
near the
they're
back
actually-
somewhere.
Yeah, that they're allowed to share whatever they learn in confession. So they don't need all this spying equipment.
No, exactly, yeah, exactly. But it seems like it's just lying around Craggy Island somewhere, because they all have fucking loads of it, like.
It must be this mail order catalogue thing where the guy's getting all the technology.
Yeah,
from
true, actually, yeah, true. But Ted takes a training session for his over 75s team. Now, it was a bit of a useless session because they were training for an indoor match and he was training them outdoors.
It was more to get them fit, I think.
Well, it's a very different sport. It's a very different discipline, playing indoor and outdoor.
It's a different shark.
It's a very different shark. But yeah, no, well, the ball bounces different, and in indoor.
I don't think that ball even lifted off the ground the whole time it was in
Too
play.
sweaty.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
And they said in the commentary on the indoor that they used a weighted ball to make it look slower.
Is that right?
That is right.
What? So that's why.
Because when they were playing indoor, they kept shouting at them, slow it down, because they're playing too fast.
Well, it is very hard to kick a ball to such an extent that it stops on the line, as it did in this episode.
So a weighted ball, that was a solution.
Ah, very good, very good. What else did you learn from the commentary?
Not a whole lot. The two boys really like their own show, like. Really like it.
And were they?
The bit where Jack has the fan. One of them says that he hadn't watched the episode for 10 years or something, and he was watching Jack throw him through the cord, or he was watching Ted pulling the cord, and he couldn't wait to find out what was at the other end of it because he couldn't
He
remember.
completely forgot. Very good, very good. The thing is, if you have done something like years ago, like you probably don't watch it. Like when you made a show, like you just put it out there and you've hit your deadline, and then you never think of it again. You've done your job, like you don't go back to it. Then it's just on TV at that point.
They probably should do because they've done nothing since.
Oh, that's a bold claim.
Burn.
That is a fucking bold claim.
I hope you are listening.
Black books, come on.
Sorry, did they do?
18
18
credits.
credits.
Sure.
I was about to say my entire podcast career depends on the rest of their output. have you not seen Big Train?
No,
sketch
I
show?
would attack that then because Black Books was a great show,
No.
and IT Crowd was alright.
I think it didn't start too strong, but it got great. I think it did get really good. And there's also Big Train. It's a sketch show they did. I would highly recommend you all watch
Big
it.
Train was fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's like the best sketch show of all time,
Right.
in my opinion. And that's what's happening after.
Alright, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Jeez.
I know something that'll translate really well for the podcast. We should have a staring competition.
The Sarah Championships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No talking during it, right?
Right.
Go.
Okay.
Well, we'll let them continue with that.
I feel slightly overdressed for this.
Well, if you feel you have to talk, you can have a screeching competition instead.
I really wish. I don't know why I even wore my tuxedo to this thing. Nobody's going to see it.
Well, how do you think I feel in my fucking ostrich outfit? But Dougal says that they find out that the the Rugged Island team has a new Italian import, and the Italians are very good at football. They're also very good at fashion. Like, do you remember that Italian who was so good at fashion they had to shoot him?
Just right, too.
You all
Is
know.
that JFK?
No, it wasn't JFK. No, it was Luciano Versace. Is that his first name?
I couldn't tell you. I know Princess Diana wore a lot of his outfits.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and Eminem wrote it.
Fucking hell. He's a serial killer. It wasn't very good for her either.
Well, Eminem wrote a lyric about him. Oops, it's me, Versace. Whoops, somebody shot me. I was just checking the mail. Get it? Checking the mail? Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hilarious, Macca.
Well, it was when
You should be a professional comedian or something. Do a podcast.
I'll do a podcast about it.
Do you think he'll remember after 10 years what he said today?
Well, of course, I listen to my podcast every week.
He'd be trying to get the viewing figures up, you see.
Right.
Or the listening
commentary
figures.
on a podcast. Like in 10 years when you play this podcast back and talking over the top of it.
You do sign language in the corner when
Yeah, I'll put it on YouTube with SoundCloud because that's brilliant idea actually. But it turns out that Jack's actually a really good footballer.
Yeah, his poetry in motion.
Well, exactly. Did somebody say he had a trial for Liverpool or something? Or
Yeah, I was going to say that, but then apparently he was on trial in Liverpool.
What do you reckon he was on trial for? And clearly he didn't get convicted because
Hillsborough.
possibly.
he was the one that kept the gates closed.
He was the one directing them into the gate, was he?
But that happened in Sheffield, surely.
I thought it was just like a name for it.
Yeah, they still use that stadium, which seems a bit weird, isn't it?
But what do they use it for?
Well, they still
Cabin
play it.
Birds?
Aye, but sure, remember they had to take away all the standing sections.
Oh, they had to do that in every stadium in England.
Yeah.
Because there's so much crowd difficulties.
I know, I blame Aston Villa for that.
Here, Aston Villa are the ones that fucking get Aston Villa are fucking. Don't even start me in Aston Villa. I'll be here all fucking night.
Do they even play football anymore?
Well, they're playing. Well, not really. They
No,
play outside
soccer.
the Premier League now. Yeah.
Soccer.
But yeah, so Ted finds out that his other great player, apart from Jack, Nick, he won't be able to play either because he's otherwise indisposed.
He's pushing up turnips.
He is indeed. Is that the phrase you use? I always called it pushing up daisies.
No.
No, that's farting.
Martin's pushing up daisies.
Yeah.
Please explain.
Well, I don't know the reason for it. It's just pushing up daisies. Daisies means farting for some reason.
He is a Bikram yoga expert, not an idiom expert.
And I have to say that
his
sometimes whenever you're in a downward facing dog, farts will just pop out.
And you say pushing daisies.
And you say oops
And
and daisy.
I say, oh, somebody's pushing up daisies.
In your bridge. But yeah, no. So there's a very high tech coffin. This got the.
You got a fax.
It's got a fax machine on it. Yeah.
I was actually going to say that he wasn't able to play because he was 6 foot under, but we could actually probably get a far more accurate reading because it tells you how far underground you're buried.
And it would have been a minus number because he was clearly elevated at least 3 foot off the ground.
Yeah.
So it would have been -3.
Yeah.
Assuming it's a 1-floor building. So, you know, you got to take those things into account. But yeah,
But I'm pretty sure you would tear it before you made any adjustments to where you're going. It's like, you put someone on a scale, you have to press tear.
Oh, you have to make it 0.
Yeah.
And well, 0 would be ground level, surely.
Mm.
So it would probably be teared at ground level, and then tell you how deep you're buried, and for how long as well, which is very important because somebody's going to take that up at some day.
Do you think this technology was a precursor to the iPhone? With the
Possibly.
accelerometer and everything?
Well, what I was going to bring up actually was a lot of fucking technology these days have such stupid fucking features. Like
Like
there's
a
fridges.
headphone jack?
Like a headphone, yeah, you don't need those anymore.
Ah, right.
Nah,
sorry.
no. Well, yeah, that's the big one, the headphone jack. But if they can make wireless Bluetooth speakers
What's wrong
work,
with a headphone jack?
It's called Father Jack.
Father Jack.
Headphone jack.
Headphone jack is his older brother.
No, headphone jack is the name he uses whenever he's doing those hardcore rave kills.
Hardcore rave kills. I want to be at one of them. No, but there's fridges who have fucking Twitter feeds. Like you can post to Twitter from your fridge. It's like,
That's because
what
my
the
milk
fuck is the point of that?
My milk likes to tell people it's cool.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. What if it's off though?
Huh?
What if it's
It's
off?
all-
I was
on.
going to say it might be a bit cheesy, but
Do you know what though? They have those
Cool it.
buttons now. What do you call those? Is it dash buttons for Amazon?
For what?
Basically they're connected to your Wi-Fi. I think there's about 40 different buttons you can get at the minute, and like if you're out of toilet roll, you have a button that says Andrex beside your toilet roll, and you push the button and it goes back to Amazon and orders it, and it gets delivered the next day.
Do you have to stay in the toilet for a whole day?
That's what I was thinking.
Well, you
See,
answer the door.
I mean, like you're sitting there going, right, I'm really hungry now, and I need to shit again, and at this stage the underwear's going.
And I can't really sign for this because I'm fucking my kicks are down still, and I don't want to pull them up until I get wiping my arse like so.
They might fly it in the window on a drone to you.
Well, that'd be handy, but how do you get up to open the window?
They fly straight through. What? Do you not keep the window open in the bathroom?
I suppose you could just go straight to the shower.
No, you can use your bidet.
bidet to use, sir. But yes, so Ted, the forfeit system is in play in the match again. Last year, Ted had to photocopy his arse, so he's on a losing streak anyway. So he's definitely got an impetus to.
He'll never be allowed back in that library again.
He won't. Yeah. He won't. Yeah, well, if he has to do it at a public library, like that is a bit of a good forfeit, like.
There's the forfeit's a bit tame. Was there not the forfeit as well before about you had to say feck close to slightly loudly close to President Mary Rams?
Well, that's pretty. Would you do it in front of Michael D?
Oh yeah.
I don't think he would hear you.
Why?
For 20 bucks, I'd call him a chicken fucker.
You know,
Let's be honest, he is just a leprechaun.
I thought he was made by the Jim Henson Company.
He's clearly dusting the turkey.
I think he looks like Kermit the Frog.
Could you also stop disparaging our president or on Arukta?
Bring back Mary McAleese, that's all I'm saying.
that's you.
The two Marys.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dick reveals himself, so to speak.
That's the thing he's going to
Well, he phones a very snazzy phone. You remember that phone with a little neon light through it, the see-through phone, with a very creepy ice cream music, the ice cream van music. It's like something in a horror film or something. It's the kind of thing that would haunt your nightmares. You never want to get another ice cream again from a van.
No, see that's what it said.
I don't know if they actually sell ice cream from those vans anymore. I always heard they were selling blue movies.
Yeah, but you don't even need that anymore.
See, I don't think priests should be in ice cream vans anyway, attracting children over to them. So,
Arlo Hamlin said one time that his father told him whenever you hear the ice cream van music, that means it's sold out.
It's done. It's gone. But we used to live in Holy Lands, and there'd be ice cream vans. It'd be like hailstones, like breaking the windows, and you'd hear the ice cream van music. So clearly they didn't give a shit about selling ice cream. There was obviously something else they were selling. Like,
well, do you remember Peter Kay always said that whenever Blu-ray discs came out, he was really surprised because he always knew Blu-ray as the guy that sold blue movies from the ice cream van around the street. He thought he was doing really well for himself.
Well, yeah. Well, he's gone commercial now. Like. But yeah, so Ted's having more injury worries as a lot of football managers have to deal with. Father Fitzmaurice's kneecap fell off, so he's got no choice but to put him into goal.
Yeah, well, that sort of thing happens if you don't glue
Not
them
enough
on.
yoga. Not enough yoga.
That is true.
Or too much yoga.
It's everything in mediocrity,
Yeah, what your life was.
including my life.
Mediocrity.
But he wasn't very good in goal, was he? Because he was bamboozled every fucking shot that came near him.
Well, he's not a natural goalkeeper, you see.
Well, this is true, yeah.
He's been put in goalkeeper, and he doesn't even have a kneecap. He only has one kneecap, so I'm going to cut him a bit of a break.
Cut some slack. Well, Dougal was supposed to be the physio, so he had no physio either, which is bad. But he had the magic sponge.
Well, I think that it's no wonder your man's kneecap fell off whenever you see the way that Dougal was working.
He was turning his legs inside, finding new angles for the knee to go into. But Mrs Doyle doesn't like football, as we find out. In fact, she finds a bit of men just watching other men kick a leather ball around, or films, just men watching
roller coasters.
Yeah, just men on a roller coaster going up and down on the steel track. She's got these ideas in her head of what men do in their, in their spare time.
Like Bikram yoga.
Like Bikram yoga. It's just men
Tell
sitting
us
there,
more
but
about
there's.
Bikram yoga.
Is it
I
just
think
men?
I think I've told you everything I can tell you, but well,
You're supposed to be an expert.
I am an
Supposed to be
expert,
an
right? But there's limits to how much you people can learn without actually doing a Bikram yoga course.
Do some yoga for the mic.
Right? Okay, hang on.
Jesus. Holy shit!
Someone press that Amazon button now. We're gonna need it.
Oh God, I'm pushing up daisies.
But we found out that Jack has his old sporting days, and he's former judge in the highly competitive wet t-shirt competition.
Did you notice that there was nobody there watching us? It was just
It was just
him
him.
and the girls.
He did take it very seriously though, because he wanted to make sure that he was
It was
getting
like he
the
invited them himself to.
Yeah.
Do you know what the worst thing I thought about that was? The camera angle.
Burger action.
It was exclusively from behind.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get to see the competitive action,
And this was on Channel 4 at 9 o'clock, wasn't it? So, it would have been past the watershed.
Yeah.
What I would like to point out is though, they weren't wearing white t-shirts. They were wearing every colour except white.
I think
That's why he needed more water.
More water. Ah, of course, yes. See, only on an export in in white t-shirt competitions. But yeah, so Ted assigns Dougal to look after the corner flag, and when he's practicing this, he's been very concentrated, and he's sitting there watching it, and as soon as he takes his eyes off it, it disappears because Mrs Doyle just comes in behind him and just lifts it off him. And it sends him into raptures, like.
I thought she wasn't a good housekeeper.
Well, this is true. Yes, that was her first bidding of good housekeeping.
Plus, Ted distracted him. He wouldn't have had time to listen to Ted during the actual match.
Well, he would have to know what's going on because there's lots of crowds there.
I thought he was just looking after the flag though, not.
Well, when it came to the actual match, he did do a good job because Cyril was trying to get it off him.
That's a souvenir.
Yeah, for the match, and yeah, so he starts fibbing. When was the last time you fibbed?
Fibbed?
Yeah.
Last Father for I've sinned. It's been 1 week since my last confession.
How long was it actually? When was the last time you were in confession?
Maybe when I was 8.
Same here. I went to one, then I went to a second one. I haven't been since.
Yeah.
I think I went to confession in Knock.
But see, the problem is you have to lie in your confession because you don't have anything to confess. So then you have to lie through it, and then you have to say you're lying. So then your last confession is the one that's actually the right one.
Unless you.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, sorry, Father, I made all this up. This has all just been a big charade. I've been lying this whole time.
Just like the
Can
whole
you give me an
Jesus
accent?
thing.
Yeah. But Jack, we have to enter a new drink into the cabinet because Jack has had some Dreamy, Sleepy, Nighty, Snoozy, Snooze, which is banned in most European countries, which is a sign that it's good.
Alcohol-based chocolate.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Well, it sent him into a coma for 14 days apparently. So
That actually sounds like the hot chocolate and brandy we used to get whenever we went skiing.
You can get chocolate tequila.
chocolate tequila.
Yeah.
I've got chocolate vodka, and I think we've got pea and mint vodka at home as
We
well
have
too.
pea and mint vodka.
Oh, you don't have pea and mint
Sean
vodka
got it.
anymore. I drank that.
That was my Christmas present.
That
No,
was
I'm only
mine.
joking. It's in my boot.
But yes, so Dougal or Mrs Doyle starts watching her. She follows chapter 3, how to watch football on TV.
Was it match of the day?
Well, it didn't show
It
what she was
already
watching.
on.
Yeah, but she felt she had to get a tin of Stella out.
Yeah.
It was a very very old looking tin of Stella, but yeah.
I think it was her husband's.
But was Stella even that big back then? Well, it would have been Jack's, one of Jack's, I'm sure.
No, he wouldn't drunk his. I think she brought it from home. She did look like a beaten wife, and that's what Stella
Yeah,
was
true.
famous
The
for.
wife beater. Yeah, but like, I don't remember Stella being around until about we were 19 or 20 or something.
That's
Aye,
because
but that's because you're not allowed to drink alcohol until you're 19 or 20 or over 18.
I was like, where you going?
It doesn't stop us though, does it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
it did.
didn't. I didn't. I kept my confirmation pledge, as did William and as did Sean.
Yeah.
You fucking
Over
losers.
here.
I literally took a shot of whiskey on the day
16.
when you broke your pledge. Well, your pledge for
Mate,
12.
there is no comment there. That says it all.
She never took the pledge.
Silence speaks
Lisa?
volumes.
I didn't take the pledge.
You drank it though.
I drank it.
Well,
You drank the pledge.
You drank the pledge.
for
We
the
see,
benefit,
because you can drink communion wine because that is actually turned into the Jesus' blood. So
so you can take up cannibalism, but just
Technically,
not.
it's not wine.
Yeah, but you didn't
it's been
pledge yourself against it. Back.
transubstantiated.
Indeed, yeah, it was nice. Yeah, I like that. But just for the benefit of the listeners who don't know what the pledge is, when you take your confirmation at
Andreas doesn't know what the pledge is. So
okay, Andreas will direct this to you. When you do your confirmation at age 12 to confirm that you want to be a part of the Catholic Church at age 12,
I think it's actually at age 11.
11, sorry, yes, 11. So before you have any, conscious thought or anything, but you
you
pledge.
have no conscious thought before you're 11.
Well, you don't have.
Before that, you're
Sorry.
walking around in a complete daze.
All right, I'll rephrase that.
In fact, maybe you're walking around like a turnip.
Yeah, like a turnip.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have legal capacity when you're 11. I'm sure you study law. You'll know about this.
You're
I'm pretty
responsible for everything
sure
after
James
you take
Bulger
it.
and Terry Venables, or maybe not Terry Venables,
Yeah.
but John Venables.
Terry
I'm
Venables.
pretty sure that they had legal capacity at their age.
When they were 10.
Yeah.
No, they were tried as the juveniles. That's why they were released when they were 18. No, that's why
Yeah,
they were
but what I'm
released.
saying is you have criminal responsibility whenever you're 10.
Okay, yes, you do. Yes, okay, but you don't have the capacity to sign a contract, for example. But anyway, you pledge not to drink alcohol until you're 18. And we went around my classroom, and there was about 6 of us in P7 doing the confirmation, and the teacher went round. She goes, Evian, would you like to take the pledge? Yes, miss. Una, would you like to take the pledge? Yes, miss. James, would you like to take the pledge? No. James, you're taking the pledge, so she put my name down anyway, and just out of sheer fucking pig-headedness, I went and took a drink that night, or the night of my confirmation, and went and got a brandy. So
Where do you get the brandy from?
just my parents' camel. I don't even know if it was brandy, it was something, but I just out of sheer fucking piss offery, like.
His parents were lying drunk on the sofa.
But then, yeah, so Father Dick Byrne unveiled his new signing, Father Romeo Sensini. He was a complete sensation. He had 17 caps for the Vatican's over 75 team.
And he looks after himself.
Yeah, just one glass of, or just finest wine.
Finest wine.
And he can go up 2 flights of stairs unassisted. I mean, this guy's motoring around like poetry in motion, if you will. And then we get to kick-off. The referee, as we've mentioned, was the comedian Jason Byrne. Didn't he? Is knowing him, any of his stuff.
Yeah.
What's he famous for? 'Cause I know his name and I know his face.
He does a lot of like panel shows.
Yeah.
Is he on Mock the Week?
I think he's on Mock the Week. Yeah.
And is he not on Mock the Week that much? It's Dollar Burn.
Byrne.
He used to do that show, Alias was it, or something it was called? Where he used to send people dressed up looking different into like famous people into
Oh
their
yes.
families.
Okay, so like one of the Westlife boys would go down to like a street in Sligo and
As
pretend.
someone else.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Right. Yeah, well, he was the referee.
He's in with. I think he's in Japan this week
How do you know that?
because he was on Sunday Brunch last weekend.
Oh, so you've been following his career then?
Yeah.
Nice. But he's not Ed Byrne. Ed Byrne's the one who had the ironic.
Yeah, he's like
stand-up.
the brown, long-haired.
Yes, that's
Comedian.
right. Saw him in Belfast the other day. I mean, on the street, like I didn't actually go see him or anything.
I thought you said that you were looking through the window of his house.
No, he doesn't live in Belfast, but but there's really cool drumming going on in the kickoff.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
the Blue Man Group.
Well, it reminded me of
Or
Blackboard
Stomp
Jungle.
or some shite like that.
Do you remember Blackboard Jungle? The
Yeah.
Ray Darcy quiz show?
I was gonna say, was it Ray Darcy?
It was pretty cool, just wanted to bring it up. But Ted doesn't seem like a very good... Well, yes, so we find out that Ted decides he's in a ludicrous situation. So he finally puts 2 and 2 together and gets himself a remote control wheelchair and some fake arms, as is revealed later. But he's not a very good remote control operator, is he? Because he keeps driving Jack into fucking doors and walls and off the side of the pitch and everything.
Yeah, he was just sitting in the corner for a while.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Which is amazing because he can operate a car from one side of the island to the other overnight when he's
asleep.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah.
I don't know how do you turn a wheelchair with a remote control? There's only 2 wheels.
Well, they're clearly wired up into the pulley system and everything.
You see, this is what I'm thinking. It could be that if the way that it's powered is you have to accelerate one wheel faster than the other, then that would be quite hard to control.
Okay, then I'll take your mechanical engineering.
I'm
You
an
wish it.
electrical engineer.
Sean
He's
is
a
actually
mechanical engineer.
Sean is actually a vacuum yoga expert.
Well, if you put your mechanical engineering and your electrical engineering, or
You've done it the wrong way around.
whatever, if you meld it
Well,
up,
it's alright, people can't see where he's pointing.
Alright. Yeah.
well, exactly.
We'll pretend you got that right then.
Well, surely between the two, you could get a remote control wheelchair.
I'm pretty
Which
sure
is
there
good
already
for-
is remote control wheelchairs.
But you would only be able to use it in a completely ludicrous situation.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure we can find one. As soon as we make one, we can find one. Like, is there ones already in existence, Marty?
I think so, yeah.
As in
It's going to be if you can control the wheelchair from the back.
Yeah, well, you've got electronic wheelchairs, and I don't think it's much of a leap to put in something that's
This is very
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Very true. Get on, Sean. I want a prototype by Friday.
I
patent
think
pending.
really all you need to do is you go up to somebody who's on an electric wheelchair, obviously push them off it, and break off the joystick, and then just carry that around with you, and then you have control of the wheelchair.
As long as you don't break the circuit, though.
No, you can break the circuit, yeah. I should know because I'm an electronic engineer.
Are you an expert in
and,
that?
and a Brickram yoga expert.
Well, we'll take your word for it then. But Sensini misses a sitter in the match. He's got open goal, and when he kicks it, it rolls to the line and then stops. It reminded me of Uncle Buck when he brought his niece and nephew
To the
to
10-pin bowling
Yeah.
alley. And that was Macaulay. Was it? No, it wasn't Macaulay Culkin.
It was the wee girl,
It
yeah.
was the girl.
So he managed to bowl all the way down, and it hit the pin, just didn't move anything.
Didn't move anything. It
Yeah.
stopped.
But Mrs Doyle gets really into football fever, and she rounds up her own firm, so the Craggy Island firm.
BBC sound effects.
Yeah.
Volume 4.
Volume 4. Mrs Doyle rounds up her firm. Within the course of one match, she had a full stand of people just reading the book and getting involved.
Whenever you say a firm, do you think they were involved in football hooliganism outside
Oh, totally,
the
yeah.
stadium?
Yes, no, that's what I mean, yeah. Like, they were getting pretty aggressive, like.
They
Yo,
were.
shit!
Ah!
Yeah. Yeah, no, they loved it. See, did you ever go to a soccer match, Premier League match?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
did you go see?
United.
Well, did you ever go see a proper match? Not a
Liverpool
fucking...
Leeds.
Well, I don't watch foreign sports, but
You were
If
also
I
at
did.
Liverpool and
But
Leeds.
you were a tourist in London for a while, really? No.
well, I was living in London for a while, and I did actually have the horrendous joy of coming back from Millwall.
Millwall.
Yeah.
See, Millwall would have been my local club when I was in London.
Yeah, I
so
lived in Peckham, so when I was going back from it, it was just horrendous. Like, there's old women on the plane and the train and everything, and the men are just going mad and pushing them over. They basically like pushed them out the door of the train if they couldn't get on. Like,
Yeah, Chelsea fans are pretty similar. But yeah, Millwall fans are known for being the rough ones.
Remember
Millwall,
that there
West Ham.
Chelsea fan in
Paris? Yeah.
wouldn't let the black guy onto the train?
It wasn't fan, it was fans. It was the whole lot of them. Like, Chelsea fans are
I didn't
cunts.
see this. What
Was he
happened
not?
there?
Was he not a
There was-
police
there was-
officer in
there was-
Northern Ireland?
Aye, he was a police officer in Northern
That's right,
Ireland.
actually, yes. Yeah.
In the
And-
north of Ireland.
Whatever you, yeah, and he was like, him and all his Chelsea mates weren't allowing the this black guy onto the train, and he was like not backing down or whatever, but there was like 6 of them all like pushing him off the train, and then
That's
got
very
on the news
horrendous.
and stuff.
Yeah, they were in Paris, like, they were going to see Chelsea play Paris, and
Yeah.
yeah, they were being cunts. Chelsea
Yeah.
fans are fucking cunts, I hate them.
Not only do they think that they're better than other races, but also they can go to a completely different country and act like they own it.
Well, exactly. That's what the British government have done in the last 100 years. But unfortunately, their empire has now fallen. But the problem
See,
is
that's
that
what it is. That is Chelsea. As in, Chelsea is the centre of the empire. That's the mentality they bring with it. That's why, yeah, it is. That is genuinely it being sort of extrapolated into or not extrapolated, sort of microcosmed into this tiny situation of Chelsea football fans, like
To be fair though, they made the nice buns, so I let them do what they want.
buns.
well, you know,
Yeah,
this
Chelsea
is
buns, definitely.
Nah, fuck that noise. But yeah, so the Italian player buys a penalty. Typical Italians. And he knows what he's doing too. He's like, them Italians always used to dive. You know, foreigners bringing this into the English game is what the English pundits used to say. Ted is a big team talk at half time, and he's been very inspirational with it. But poor Jim doesn't get the idea of metaphor. So every time Ted says, "Right, we'll rip to the pieces," Jim gets very stressed, and finally at the end of his big speech, he's like, "Right, let's get out there and lick some arse, kick some arse."
You know, it's quite interesting that you say that because occasionally in a Bikram yoga class, you get quite close to the person in front of you, and you're in a position where that can actually happen.
It's not a metaphor.
It's not even a metaphor.
Did that ever happen to you?
Oh, frequently, yeah.
Yeah.
And yet you thought, this is something I'd like to be an expert in.
Jack gathers the ball from a throw-in and does a Messi-esque run to score, and then it's followed very quickly by Father Cullen finding himself in acres of space, and he puts it in. So Ted's team the Craggy Island team win the game.
Do you know what the actual most interesting thing about that is? Father Cullen, who looks old AF in that, is the only person from both those teams who's actually still alive.
The actor.
Yeah, and I mean, like you have
Bertie Sweeney.
Father Ted, obviously. Dermot Morgan is dead. Frank Kelly's obviously dead too. But the only one who's still alive is Father Cullen.
Right, okay. That's a very genuinely interesting fact. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, so Dougal's protecting the corner flag from Cyril. He starts to get a bit dickish with it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's taking the piss.
Yeah, he sort of
He
puts.
gets a bit cocky.
Like was that Dougal knows he's smarter than Cyril, so he's just ripping the ass out of it.
Well, this is very true, actually, yeah, because it's a very odd occasion when
Probably the
Dougal.
only person smarter than.
Yes,
smarter than.
exactly. Yeah, he's for as another adult that Dougal's smarter than. But yeah, he starts teasing with him. He puts it within reach and he just pulls it away. Within reach, but then pulls it away. It's like so. Dick's forfeit is he has to kiss Cyril in the cheek, which is pretty tame, but not for Dick because he's a notorious homophobe. But Ted has found out when he goes to have a celebratory drink, and the iconic words "I go on" are uttered by Dougal, and that's what actually gets him. That's what gets him found out in the end, because he can't accept the champagne that Dougal's offering him, and the referee figures it out. Because when we get our line of the show from when Dick realises that he's been juked, Dick sent a message to Ted about his forfeit.
Oh, what Dougal said?
Yes.
Yeah, he said that Dick said it was an extra special forfeit because you're such a big cheating bastard.
Exactly. And it sets us up beautifully for the first two-parter that Father Ted's ever done, which we'll be doing live at Culture Night on Friday. Well, I will be, and I'll be joined by Colin Hazard and Vince Kettle and Graham Harrison.
What night's that on?
That's on Friday at 4 p.m.
Right, who's joining you at that?
Graham Harrison, Vincent Kettle and Colin Hazard.
Right.
Part of Culture Night. One of the Club Orange best bits at Culture Night. I'll hasten to add. It'll be spectacular. You should all come. But yeah, what did you all think of the episode? Right?
I see it as more of a sort of a setting up episode rather than an actual standard episode by itself. It's
Well, we've got a cliffhanger here now. Come on, that's got to be worth
yeah,
something.
but I mean, it was getting to the cliffhanger. It wasn't a standard episode by itself. It was more setting up the next episode, which is great.
I know. I like the episode itself.
This is probably one of my least favourite episodes, actually.
This is?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I know it's supposed to be slow paced, but I just felt like it was very slow. Like there wasn't much to laugh out loud at.
I agree with you, actually. I agree with you. What were you going to say, sorry?
I was gonna say I liked it. I think I liked it better than the Living Dead. I liked it more than some of the other episodes. They're meant to be funny, right? So I did. I love the very last shot of the episode. It's brilliant too. It was just Jack waking up with a big face of shock on him
After 14 days of sleep.
after 14 days of sleep.
Because
I need to go to America and buy some of that stuff for myself. What was it? Sleepy?
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
That sounds like a good medicinal product that I should stock in my pharmacy.
Definitely. And if you can get me some Amazon, please do, because I can't find it anywhere.
No, I didn't really like this episode too much either.
It's one of my least favourites.
Yeah.
I have to agree. I definitely agree with you. Well, I agree with myself because I said it first.
You
but,
said it first. No, it is very slow, and we watched it as a group, and
Yeah.
the atmosphere in the room was very lulled, and it wasn't as energetic as you'd hope it would be after a Father Ted episode.
After a wedding and then a Father Ted episode where everyone's slightly a bit tipsy,
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
not really, wasn't really hitting the spot for me.
No, exactly. But as you said, it's all set up. The next episode, kicking Bishop Brennan up the arse. So we'll be covering that next week. But thank you very much for listening. Thanks everyone for coming down and
Thanks
putting up
for
with
having me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course, yes. And thanks everyone for all yous and for putting up with my my ostrich costume and all sorts.
The ostrich is actually standing there.
Well, yes, yeah. Look at him.
Remind us what nights that thing's on again?
Which thing?
Yeah, there's two things.
Have you not been listening? Thank you very much for listening, and bless you.